Hey everyone, it's Tracy. I am sharing my rustic burlap Valentine wreath. This cutie patootie is so country and so rustic. It is downright my style, and I'm going to show you how I put it together. I finally found some of these heart frames, these wire frames from the Dollar Tree, so I'm using one of those. I'm also using strips of burlap. Now, I like to buy the burlap off of the bolt. So I usually buy a whole bolt of burlap, and then I cut like 4-inch strips down the burlap, just cut them out, and then I rub my hand along the strips of burlap, and then it gives a frayed edge. Sometimes you don't even need to do that. Sometimes it just frays on its own, but you want to make sure that anytime you're using burlap that you wear a mask similar to this, because we do not want those little fibers to get into our lungs. To attach the burlap to the heart frame, I'm just using this brown or tan colored chenille stem. I like to cut the chenille stems into thirds or even in half, and I just have it here in this little organizer. It just works so well for me, but I am just going to show you how I attach the burlap to the frame. These are the 4 ribbons that I'm going to use in my wreath. Now, these came from Craft Outlet, and they may look a little familiar. I did use them on my Country Valentine wreath from last year in 2017, and so I'll put a link to that here in the video. But the brown with the red stitching came from Hobby Lobby, and this one as well came from Hobby Lobby. And I got it on sale, which was an even bigger score. These are the different colored twines or jute that I'm going to be using. This sisal twine I pick up at the Dollar Tree, and I just have a different array of different jutes and twines that I think I'm going to use on this wreath. Okay, to start the burlap on the wreath, I am going to thread it through this burlap, and I'm going to attach it here kind of where that wire meets. And so I'm just going through the back side and just going to figure out my placement, and then I'm just going to twist it right there. I'm also going to put a dot of hot glue because that will, secure it there. Have this little piece of shelf liner that really helps when I'm doing wreaths like this to put my wreath on it so it doesn't slide around my craft mat or my craft table. And so then now for the burlap, I'm just going to just kind of thread it through those wires. There's only 2 sets of wires on these heart wreaths, and so I'm just going to bubble it up through one side, and then I will go back. I don't do anything special. I just kind of twist it in the back. I go back and forth so that the wire will catch, the bubble so that it doesn't come out, or the poof, whatever you want to call it. I guess they're more like little poofs. So I'm just kind of figuring out what size I want them, and then I will just go back and forth through the whole entire strip. Now, the only, I guess the only bad thing, not bad, but the only negative thing about using strips of burlap like this is that the strips run out fairly quickly. So I don't even tie them off. I'm going to show you what I do at the end. I kind of measure it so that the end kind of flips up, and that it just becomes part of the wreath. So the only time I really tie it is when I start a new strip of burlap. Okay, right here I am coming to the end of that strip, and it's too short to make another poof. So I just take my scissors and just cut off whatever I think, you know, kind of matches the size of my burlap, and I just leave that as it is. It frays on the end, so it just really becomes part of the wreath. To start another piece of burlap, I just take my chenille stem and then I kind of thread it just like you would thread a needle. I just poke it through the burlap and then just gather it just like that, just kind of making back and forth, and then I attach it to the wire frame just like that. I attach it through the back, and I'm just going over another cross wire. I'm going to put another dot of hot glue because that seems to help keep it in place so that it doesn't slide while I'm making my boots. And this is what it looks like with all the burlap just pulled through with this method. I just love this method. This is my absolute favorite way to do burlap wreaths. Okay, I cut my ribbons at 10 inches in length, and then now I'm going to dovetail each one of the ribbons to get them ready for my wreath. I am going to use these 4 ribbons stacked on top of each other. This is the first ribbon that I'm going to use. I just gather it in the center, and then I'm going to take this one next, and I just gather it, scrunch it in the middle. The more you do these kind of bows, the better you get at it. And I just do like a crisscross or like a plus sign, and then I just layer the next one on top of it, kind of doing it at a diagonal. So the tails are not on top of each other, they're kind of crisscross. I like to do my bows like that. I use a chenille stem to attach all of the ribbons together. I'm trying to do this very slowly so that I can show you exactly what I do. But then I turn it over on my craft table, and then I twist it very tight as I can get it, because that makes that, it gathers in the middle and gives me that look that I like for my bows. So here are all my little bow bundles. I ended up making 8 bundles of these total, because that is what I'm going to put on my wreath. Now I am just attaching all of the bow bundles to the wreath form, just kind of placing them around the wreath so that they are all even. I'm going to make a little banner for my wreath, and I like to use this little template. It is a wood banner that I have in my stash, and now I'm just looking for a pencil because I'm going to draw just the template on my this muslin fabric. Then once I get these drawn, then I'm going to put a coat of decoupage or Mod Podge on the muslin fabric because that will stiffen it up a bit and gives me just the amount of stiffness that I like. I put my muslin fabric to the side so that it can dry. Now I'm going to be putting this jute string on my wreath. I have these different type of twine or string, and I have these clamps because I want to show you how I kind of use them to help myself. I kind of use them as little fingers because I like to layer these little bows. So I'm just taking the one that just one, it doesn't matter. I just usually start with this one, and I'm just doing 4 loops, or actually, I guess 4 loops, 2 on each side, and then I just kind of like clamp that together and put it to the side, and then I'm going to take this other jute and make another bow so that my twine, or it doesn't fall apart, or like unravel. I just use those little clamps to help myself to just help myself with this little bow. The sisal twine is the one that I'm going to use for the top. So I just kind of hold that in my hand, and then I'm going to take those clamps and then just unclamp it and hold it in my fingers, just kind of layering it up. And that extra piece of jute that I cut off before I put the bow in my hand, that's what I will use to tie all of this jute together. And then you have a cute little bow like this. So next I'm going to add this one into, I added each of these little bundles into the center of each bow. And so I'm just using some hot glue to do that. This is going to be on the inside. It's not going to see any kind of weather or anything, so I feel pretty good about using this hot glue. So my muslin fabric is all dry, so I'm just going to cut out these shapes, and then we're going to paint L-O-V-E on each one. For time's sake, I cut out a lot of how I did the banner. I will have a separate video of how I created this love banner for those of you that would like to see it from start to finish. To attach the banner to my wreath, I am using this tiny hole puncher from Martha Stewart. I'm going to try to find the name of it. It makes like a pinhole, like so small, and it's perfect for little banners like this. And then I'm going to use this linen string that I have in my stash, and then I will thread it through the banner and then attach it to my wreath. I tie it on one side, and I tie it directly to the wire frame so that it doesn't go anywhere. Now the love letters, you can position them however you want, or these banners are really good to create for any season, any event, any kind of thing. And you can hot glue them to the ribbons if you want, but it doesn't matter to me. It's going to be on the inside and it just looks really pretty. The last thing I did was tie pieces of this little red and white polka dotted grosgrain ribbon. I just cut off the tails, just did a little angle, and then seared them off with my lighter. I keep one of those in my craft room because grosgrain ribbon will fray, and so it kind of singes those edges so that they don't fray. It's so cute, right? And here is my finished Valentine wreath. It is just so rustic, so country. I just love it so much. Thanks for watching. Now I will do a complete step-by-step tutorial of how I created the banner from start to finish. So once I get that uploaded, I will link to it here in this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued support. If you're new here to my channel, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up so I know you like the video, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.